extremely creepy. Look what appears out of nowhere. They actually caught this on their house cam.
Mechanical structures, they are going from the fourth dimension to the third dimension right now. You will always see them wearing suspenders and a light on the hat.
Are you trying this drink? Look how wild this is.
Welcome back to the channel. Thanks for tapping in. We're back with the new Codex files. So do me the biggest favor and hit and smash the like button for me. Smash the subscribe button and join the family if you like videos like this.
Okay, do not watch this video because this one is extremely creepy. Look what appears out of nowhere. They actually caught this on their house cam. And as you can see, this interdimensional being just disappears. And look, the woman's disappeared.
The other way.
Is this the reason why sci-fi movies like mimic kind of what reality ends up becoming? Because like with Terminator 2, for example, with Skynet, that was in the 90s.
It already exists.
It already now exists. Does it seem like DARPA's working with Hollywood? Because we watch movies, you're like, how do they come up with this futuristic stuff? You just think the director's like really that creative, but it seems like there's these scientists at DARPA that are kind of working with guys like you to get this information out, and then people make movies about it to make it more inspiring for people.
And acceptable.
Yeah, and acceptable. Like all the shows on Black Mirror about like social rating scores.
Oh, that's coming.
You know, it's interesting you bring that out. It kind of makes sense, okay? Smart people don't move the world. Stories move the world. They were smart enough to realize that if we're gonna get people behind what we're doing, they need to really see its possibility. So they would hire a great storyteller, thankfully that was me, and others to create the vision of what that scenario might be that had future benefit for a viewer.
Then Congress would fund it because Congress is also watching it going, that's a great idea. We need to fund DARPA.
That's the power of stories. Stories move the world. Technology doesn't. Now, technology will, if its stories support it and it gets funded, hell yes, that's perfect.
我去，那是什么？
There's only a very small percentage of people who are sanctioned to hold these entities because, like we were talking about before, there's a strong spiritual side to them. So I can't kill a Bigfoot and then just bring him to your house. Hey, hold on to this for me, because that's going to put you in a lot of danger because you're just not spiritually prepared. Everything's not set up for that because there's a side to it that has to be considered, especially with the UFOs. So the same thing. There's a spiritual implications with these craft. You can't just collect a crashed UFO without taking that into consideration. So you can't hold it in just any facility. There has to be some things in place to deal with the spiritual side of that. So you're going to have a lot of entities that are surrounding that craft as well as when people see, Bigfoot in the woods, if you just see one, it doesn't mean it's alone. That's just what you saw, without taking into consideration that there's other invisible entities that are probably surrounding it. And that is going to be their eyes and ears for your presence. And that's why it's going to see you before you even get anywhere close to it. And so what it allows you to see, that's just what it's allowing you to see at that moment. That's kind of like a distraction. It's actually a very good strategy because you would never see any of the other entities that are invisible, you'll see that and you'll be focused on that. And I think many people get caught up into the physical aspect of it. And I know that they're aware that there is a spiritual side to it.
You're telling me that's a lightning strike? That has got to be the longest, most consistent lightning strike in history, right? That doesn't make any sense. Look at that.
China's Humanoid Olympics is already breaking multiple world records, but it's the fails that are now becoming the main event. Now, I'm not gonna lie, the opening ceremony did start off a little intimidating, looking almost like a freaking military parade with robots riding robots into battle. But the fear quickly dissipated after these little guys were brought out. How sweet. Now, the most significant record they've already broken is Usain Bolt's 9.58 100-meter sprint, but as you can see, they're still working on a way to stop them at the finish line. And while some were motivated by breaking records, other robots looked like they were motivated from sheer panic, that if they didn't win, they would get shut off forever. Talking about getting shut off forever, yeah, they can do that now. In fact, the scope of what these humanoids can now do has extended to hitting one of the most majestic suis robot kind has ever seen. Meanwhile, Messi was just lashing out at kids. And just like Ronaldo, these things can jump. This robot just broke the human record for the highest vertical from a standing position. And then during the long jump event, these things are so powerful, it literally looks like it's defying gravity. Now, if you don't have any friends but need a tennis partner, don't worry, because they can do that now too, for the most part. I mean, great recovery. And the same goes for ping pong. One robot even faced off against China's Olympic human table tennis champion. And then as for acrobatics, well, still a work in progress.
These witnesses at the Mexico City Metro thought they were filming a massive rat, but watch as it runs down the tunnel.
Uy, la ratilla, no manches, bien gorda. Ya se fue, espérate. ¿Qué chingados es eso? ¿Qué? ¿Y esa madre? Ay, güey, ay.
Did you catch it? It appears to change into a human-shaped form and continue running down the dark tunnel. And people online are calling it something very specific, something native to that region as far as their myths and legends.
No mames, güey.
They call it a Nahul, from the Mesoamerican tradition, and it's associated with humans taking animal form.
That's a reptilian rave. Just go check it out.
I am aware from my sources who have told me that there was an alleged contact event between reptilian beings and the government of Mao Zedong during the communist regime of Mao Zedong, and that the Chinese knowledge and contact with alleged reptilian beings goes right back many decades. So they are fully aware of retrievals, and indeed there are, I think there's two events that are described as China's potential Roswell. One is in 1994 in Inner Mongolia, the Zlingol League, where herders reportedly saw a fireball and found a smoking silver grey disc that was 10 meters wide, 3 meters tall, with window-like openings and markings. This has been reported in Chinese media that military forces allegedly arrived quickly, described it as a failed experimental test aircraft. They removed the wreckage, told everyone to shut up about it. There's been no physical evidence released, no photographs of the craft or the debris under analysis, and there's never been, as neither would there be, any official acknowledgement made by any Chinese administration or official. The other incident is in 1997 in Datong, Shaanxi, which is near a military facility. A former soldier called Wei Guo This is an account published by a Chinese ufologist called Zhang Yingping, published around 2017. He claimed a silvery disc crashed during a thunderstorm on a military compound, and he described two short, thin, hair-covered beings with mouse-like faces, one apparently dead, one injured. The area was sealed. Personnel were ordered not to discuss it. This is essentially completely uncorroborated. Both of these events are completely uncorroborated, so there's not really a lot we can do with these. I've been trying to crack China as a story. I've been talking to Chinese ufologists for quite a few years, and a lot of them talk, I guess, in the same way that people in America were talking in the 1950s, the 1960s. You know, they were hearing these stories, they were talking to military witnesses, but everybody was far too scared to feel safe about coming forward and speaking publicly. So yeah, I mean, there are Chinese UFO stories. I've been told independently by sources within the legacy program and the defense and intelligence community in America that there is an ongoing Chinese retrieval reverse engineering program that is in aggressive competition with the American program. And this is probably one of the reasons why there's so much secrecy surrounding the American program. Because wrongly, I think, there is a view in the American government that if you acknowledge the existence of this legacy program, by even acknowledging that they've been retrieved craft, then you will basically cause a slippery slope argument where the public demand full access to all of the information.
A lot of famous people experience this. On their way to the top, it starts off real small too. It'll be betray someone that you love or that you know. And you'll be given that offer. And you're like, oh man, if I betray this person that's been like my partner forever, been helping me along the way, guess what? It will give me that step up into this next thing. It starts simple. And actually that betrayal process is actually how you sell your soul. And so that's what selling your soul is. You don't just, it's not I signed an agreement to sell my, no, it's you going against your convictions. You knew that you shouldn't have done that, but you did it anyways. That's the beginning of selling your soul.
Okay, a few things.
Mm-hmm.
Is it possible to be into witchcraft?
No. It's not.
And still be good?
No.
It's just not possible.
It's not.
You said something earlier, compromising yourself for knowledge.
Yeah.
Right? So let's say if you follow God and only God, how do you gain the knowledge without sacrificing anything? Or does it still come with sacrifice?
This is insane. So there's a guy in the tiger enclosure, and he said that he works here, but I don't think he does. He's climbing back over now. Look, he just went to go hang out with the tigers, and he's climbing back over. We asked him if he was okay. He said, yeah, I work here. I don't think he does. What?
Danny Jones, of course, broached the topic at hand of Jeffrey Epstein, the Epstein files, and Yuval was willing to talk about this to some extent.
That evidence, you know, we got a bunch of emails and stuff, and there was lots of redactions. They said they were only going to redact the victims, but they redacted way more than just the victims. They redacted like big names of like sheiks and oil executives and all.
Yes.
It's very interesting the people that they didn't redact and the people they did redact, if you really like read between the lines and look at it. But
Of course.
Like, that's not the real evidence. The real evidence is on the hard drives, because there's survivors, there's girls that were there that testified that he had rooms as big as this room right now that were filled with servers and computers and monitors that were recording all that footage that he had, not only on the island, but in New York, the Zora Ranch, everywhere.
On a plane,
camera.
The plane was rigged and everywhere.
Where's all that footage?
I can tell you.
Really?
Yeah.
Can I guess?
No, please don't. Not now. Don't guess now. So that's why I said the days.
Let me ask you this:
the day it will come out is important. It has to be the right time, the right day.
Let me ask you this. I'm sorry to put a legendary Mossad assassin on the hot seat. But if I was to guess, do you think I would guess right?
Probably. That's why we shouldn't talk about it right now.
All right. That's all.
That's a wild clip, bro. That's a wild clip.
And why does he remind me of Drusky being Erika Kirk?
I think you said you were saying about it was gods that came to the earth and they had sex with the humans.
And they fell.
Yeah, and they fell and they created the babies was the dolphins. I think that's what you said.
Yeah, but he said
I mean the babies.
But
was the
he got some shit though. You know, he said some shit too. He be knowing some shit, gang. Tell him what you said. What the dolphins are to you. I mean the mermaids are to you.
Oh, what you mean? You talking
what
about
are they?
The nomos?
Yeah, what are they?
Oh, the mermaid. Yeah, I did a few videos about mermaids and stuff. Back then I just did some research about the Dogon tribe, and the Dogon tribe was a tribe that actually had communication with these animals, the nomos and the mermaids. So the nomos is actually the dolphin race,
right.
and I've been hearing that's what the dolphin, what he's talking about, like the dolphin can turn human,
They can.
Yeah, it's actually a real history behind it.
The dolphins already turned themselves to fucking dolphins because before that they was on the land. They are shapeshifters.
Yeah. There's a rock and it's floating. Look. How does that work?
The meat is tainted. Do not eat the meat. There is about to be an explosion in the United States when it comes to people's health, sickness, and disease, completely unrelated from the meat. We're about to get into what's in this meat in just 1 minute, but I find it insane how they've been trying to get humanity to stop eating meat for so long, and of course, you will eat the bugs, right? It's almost like the last decade they've been trying to get us away from meat, and I wonder why that is. But did you know, unrelated, that our soil is depleted from almost everything? Iodine, all vitamins, all elements, just everything is absolutely destroyed. Not just depleted, but also loaded with things like aluminum, as well as the bees. I truly wonder how that could happen. But in today's time, animal protein is really the only place you can get any things that are good for your body. So it's just insane to me that we're going to be importing all this cattle from Argentina, the same exact place that James Lee discovered, because China won't even buy those cows. I'll let him tell you why real quick.
Rejected earlier this year because it was found to be laced with a chemical called chloramphenicol. Just so everybody's aware, chloramphenicol is banned in both the US and the EU because it can cause, quote, severe, irreversible, and often fatal aplastic anemia in humans. And on top of that, it is a known cancer-causing carcinogen and also has been shown to cause genetic damage.
That's China, probably the only country that puts more poisonous stuff in their food than the US does. Same exact China that owned Smithfield and put out a whole bunch of farmers out of work and made it almost impossible to raise these animals, especially in horrendous conditions, and that negativity that we're eating every time we eat an animal that comes from there. We're about to see pestilence in America at a level we have never seen. You know, kind of like when Jesus says Matthew 24. But right before we get into more, conspiracy mail is going out today. I send you photocopies of pages of really old books that you probably shouldn't be looking at your physical mailbox every month. Want to join? Say mail club in the comments or hit the pin comment. Like when Jesus says Matthew 24, there'll be wars and rumors of wars. See, it should not be trouble that these things must come to pass. There'll be famines, pestilence, earthquake, and diverse places. All these are the beginning of the sorrows. So let me get this straight. Soil ruined. Now our meat supply ruined. And now all of a sudden, the federal government is rounding up all these wild horses? One thing is certain, this is going to make a very particular group of people very rich. Any idea of who? Let us know.
what's scary about them. Like a lot of these missing planes we hear about, these things, if they explode next to something like a plane, it doesn't just obliterate that plane to a bunch of dust. No, it brings it to the atomic level.
Yeah.
And it talks about how these things shapeshift, not just into craft, like literally these things have gone through the walls of the ISS, the International Space Station, and the astronauts have seen them, and they shapeshift, and they will turn into what looks like a ship. Yeah.
Like, it is a known thing to happen that these plasmoids will shapeshift and mimic things that we are familiar with.
Yeah.
One of them being planes and aircraft.
It's intelligent?
100%.
Yes.
So these things are turning into physical objects that human beings would be familiar with.
Correct, to the
Yeah.
point where there's astronauts that have said that they are things that look like 100-foot beings
Yeah.
out in space.
A physical being?
Yeah.
Like, think about a 100-foot being, like a light being, you'd probably think angel.
And so that's kind of been one of the theories recently, that all of these like missing planes, like Amelia Earhart, things of this nature, that potentially all of that was caused by some sort of plasmoid.
The reptilian is first seen in 6000 BC in what is known as modern-day Iraq. This ancient lizard-like god or alien was a benevolent deity offering divinity to mankind. We also see that in Genesis 3.
You could have $1 billion. If you are an independent artist, you will not have a #1 record on Spotify unless you pay the gate. Unless the record companies are getting a cut. There's just, I mean, there's no way that you could tell me that no one in the past 10 years since Spotify has been around has not made some record that went so viral that it ended up #1 on Spotify and didn't have to sign to a label.
Yeah.
Any record that gets enough momentum to get on the label's radar, if it does not make it past that gate and they don't have a cut of it.
So what you're saying is there is nothing that's organic.
Everything is organic until it gets to the gate. Remember what I was talking about with McDonald's? You know what I mean? They sold burgers until it got big enough, until corporate America said, we need that.
Just got to be organic enough to get swooped up. Put into
But look
the
how many
machine.
horror stories you've heard of people's inventions, people getting just unalive, disappearing, you know, when their company gets to a certain thing and you don't want to sell your company and you become competitor for Microsoft, then it becomes a machine.
So at some point you got to kiss the ring.
Pretty much.
Would you say it applies also like to the podcast business?
To every business. I mean, look at like...
If anybody's wondering, we will sell.
Yeah.
Look, let me ask you a
We
question.
will kiss the ring.
Let us know.
We don't have a problem.
A woman walks behind you, and it looks like she fully disappears. Do you know what I'm talking about?
No.
Watch this video. This is real. Take a look at this.
And what was the highlight of the evening for you tonight?
Philip Seymour Hoffman winning for Best Actor for a Drama. Very cool.
Oh my God, that is my mom. That is my mom.
Wait, what?
That's my mom.
Wait, let's watch it again. That's your mom, but what?
That woman with the dark hair
Yes.
is my mother.
That's
my
your mom?
Yes.
Philip Seymour Hoffman winning for Best Actor for a Drama. Very cool.
And wait,
I've been looking for her for like the last 15 years.
you are the best. That is so funny.
That is very
That's your
strange.
mom?
That is fully my mom.
Oh, hi, Mom. That's so cute.
That is
Oh my God,
weird.
that's
Where did she go?
Still no explanation as to why your mom secretly disappeared in that video.
All right, look at this. I really like this one. Look to the upper left-hand corner where the arrow's pointing. Watch what comes in. You see that? And don't worry, it zooms in and gets bigger, you know, on another shot. But watch the way, watch how it pulls back. Watch. You see how it pulls back? And look, the train is still going the same way, so it's not like the footage is reversed, right? That's a weird one. This is a strange one right here. I really like this one. See, so watch it zoomed in, and it's gonna zoom in bigger on the last segment of this. But look at those colors, right? That purplish lavender, kind of like, I don't know, like a bluish like a violet, right? It has like, it's like a violet, purple, lavender. I'm loving the colors, you know, like as an artist, I'm loving these colors. But look at this. What is this? I've never seen anything like this, right? And the way it pulls back, you know, that's a crazy one, right? You look at that. It definitely has a consciousness to it. I can just feel it through the screen. I don't know if you know what I mean. Look at that, y'all. I got to call UFO on this one. What do y'all feel?
We were shooting the Dark Skies pilot. I get a postcard to my home address, and it's got a picture on the front cover of a book, I believe from 1960, called Flying Eyes. And it's these eyes flying in the sky looking at whatever. And I turn it over, and it says in all caps in dark black, "We are watching you." So Brent, of course, was thinking about his interaction with this guy that was the Secretary of Energy during the Reagan administration and wondering about that. I'm thinking about these postcards that we got. So this guy didn't come out of nowhere.
What do you think put you on the radar of any of these people?
Prior to that, I had written the first Sci-Fi Channel original film. It was called Official Denial, and it was highly ufological. I mean, it had everything from Majestic 12 to abductions. So I was sort of a UFO guy in making, you know, and then we got Dark Skies. So maybe that's what put us on the radar.
This thing's creepy. What they're saying it's supposed to be used for is like doing like wildfire work. It would be able to exist in those harsher environments. It solves the stability problem with a humanoid robot.
It's U.S. company Satyrs.
What's a satyr?
A satyr is a male nature spirit in Greek mythology known for being part man and part beast, loving wine and acting wild. Same. They are companions of the wine god Dionysus. Did you read any of the copy?
It's like, if you need to stop it, it has like a impenetrable chest. You can stab or shoot.
It says the goat-like head with horns was an intentional design choice. It immediately reminded people of mythological satyrs, demons, and creatures from horror games. Online reactions have ranged from, why would they make it look like that? This is the last thing I'd want to see if I was in the woods.
Это мое невезучее место. Когда здесь 140 пролетаешь.
Are you trying this drink? Look how wild this is. I don't even know if he's really drinking it or not. But this is wild. This is diabolical behavior. 0 out of 0. Don't recommend.
Watch this. These toys are moving when nobody is supposed to be watching. And honestly, I wouldn't destroy a toy just because it could move. But imagine seeing one of them move with your own eyes, then walking over to check and suddenly it freezes. Like nothing ever happened. There are 3 of them, 2 identical cowboys and 1 superhero. And in different clips, you can clearly see their heads moving, their eyes moving, their mouths moving, and the 2 even face each other like they're having a conversation. Then someone gets close and they suddenly stop or just fall over like they weren't doing anything. That's what would make me angry. Not the fact that they can move, but the fact that I know what I just saw. I literally watched you move, and now you're going to stand there and act like you did nothing. So the guy started testing them with a flash with fire and eventually destroyed them completely, because at that point, it's not even about being scared of a moving toy anymore. It's the fact that something in your house just moved right in front of you and then pretended it never happened.
You need to know this. There's a terrifying theory online about grocery store burger buns. This particular brand has a shocking warning on the back, saying that this product could expose you to chemicals known to cause cancer. What's even stranger is that it contains bioengineered ingredients, which people online claim are unnatural and unhealthy for your body. People are also placing these buns in boiling water, where they supposedly turn into a gooey, almost plastic-like texture, and can even reveal other unknown substances inside the product. Now, after seeing these conspiracy theories online, I'm definitely going to be more careful about what I buy at the grocery store. Take a look at what we found and let me know below in the comments what you think this is.
But I reported this to NASA, and it really got their attention when I told them this. I said, you know, it was a virtual tour, and I was seeing all these things, but one weird thing was we went to Mars. And when we landed on Mars, we came down and landed, I saw these hairy creatures that looked like Bigfoot walking up to me. And they sat back and they looked at me like that, and he said, "You need to watch the movie John Carter." And this came straight from some head people from NASA. You watch that if you haven't seen it.
I haven't seen it.
Yeah. So maybe these things are coming from somewhere else through portals, because that's what that movie's about.
Right.
I just know that was a vision that they gave me there. And it sparked the interest with the top scientists at NASA to where they started telling me about John Carter and portals and how it's entirely possible that things can be coming through portals here.
Would you like to hold little Teddy for a while? And watch out for the scare bear.
That one is bipolar.
Penn Station, Manhattan. Today is the 23rd of August, 2026. This will be part 10. Again, these are mechanical structures. They are going from the fourth dimension to the third dimension right now. You will always see them wearing suspenders and a light on the hat. That's not what you think. This guy right here is not trying to cover his face. If you look closely at the original video, you can even see the transition. Again, a certain percentage of life on this planet are holographic projections, mechanical structures. In Manhattan, I've shown you this before. This is part 10, I think. If you Google or if you search Manhattan sewers, you can see my previous cases. They should be #1 everywhere. Again, I work for the visitors. I have the same technology they do. This is nothing new. They have been here forever, okay? It's a certain percent, especially Manhattan, is alien, okay? They are projecting human life and much, much more. This is the transition period. You will always see them. There will always be a car in front of that. You will always see them wearing suspenders. It covers up the transition. Again, you will always see the same logos. I have the same technology. It doesn't matter if you believe it or not. This is their home too. I just want to stress this. A large percentage of the population already knows this. Okay, we're getting ready. The whole world's going to find out. There's nothing to fear. They are beautiful. Okay, they're not human. Okay, they don't survive here. They are here, but they're not. Just like the movie Avatar, but they're mechanical, believe it or not. And all they're doing down there is just getting ready for the show. Like I said, if you look at each one of the locations, it's forming something in Manhattan. Believe it or not, the people investigating this probably, are alien too. And there's nothing wrong with it. I want that right there. I want that. I want that. I want that.
They start to spot you, like, hey, here's a bright guy, he's always knowing his way, like hustling here, hustling there, playing with the rules. And then they start to invite you more and more for higher assignments. And then you start to work for banks, independent. You're doing the dirty work for central banks, for multinationals, for governments, for what they call now terrorist organizations, and all secret services. And then on top, churches. Wow, you get the whole palette where the money floats, the big money. And you get the invitation to join in these circles to move all the money they want to move worldwide, to start wars, to start all the misery in this planet. Because there is nearly no misery on this planet in a natural way. Most of them is created. The people I worked for in the end of the days, you're talking roughly about 8,500 people on this world who run the show. And they are like who I was, completely afraid, nearly dead, filling up the holes daily, never enough, serving the monster of greed, the monster of more. And there comes Lucifer in the end.
If you're seeking the real truth, if you want to understand what you are and where we are, this ebook will have answers. Check the link in the profile bio.
Charlie Project claims this, that some time ago in Africa, at something akin to a smaller version of CERN, they accessed an entity in another dimension of reality through technology, through a computer system, and asked the entity, it says, 20,000 questions. And I was extremely interested when I read it because of what the entity said, that this reality is manipulated by a reptilian race and that it happened in their reality, but they'd got rid of them. The reptilians are obsessed with technology. Technology is their god. And look what's happening to our world. It's being taken over. The human mind, perception, human behavior is being taken over by technology. Like a virus, it's creating or having humans create this technological collective mind. The transhumanist agenda is to get technology, the word keeps coming up all the time, into the human form so that it gets pulled further from its true infinite self.
And that's a wrap on this episode. I hope you enjoyed it. If so, don't forget to hit and smash the like button for me, smash the subscribe button, be part of the family. Remember, stay woke, and I'll catch you next time.